Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to replace the chain and the bar on a Craftsman Easy Adjust chainsaw. Now, replacing the chain on a chainsaw is easier than you think. There's only one or two little tricks to it, and other than that, it's a couple of bolts and it's bang, bang, bang done. So, all you new people out there, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, and it's what we work for. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to put you right about here. And we're going to turn the lights on a little bit, or maybe a whole lot. Yeah, you can see pretty good. Okay, these are the only tools you need. And it's a super easy job. Now I'm using the impact gun to take things off, only to speed things up. Unless the bolt sticks, then it doesn't speed things up. So now we take the side cover off. And on this one, before you take the side cover off, let's adjust the chain and make it really loose. And the reason you're doing this is because your new chain is going to be much tighter than your old chain was. Chains stretch out over time. So you want to make sure that you got room to put the cover back on. This particular style of bar uses a little pusher here. So if you've got the adjustment in the bar itself, it uses this little pusher. Usually they'll be over here, and it'll have a little pin that lines up with this little hole here. And loosening that up also will allow you to put the chain on easier. So we're going to go ahead and loosen this up, even though we're not going to use this bar again, and the adjustment's on the bar. So once you got that side cover off, your chain will hop right off, as you can see here. Our old chain's done. And we know it's done because if we look at it, you can see the teeth have been sharpened completely to death. They're done. The reason we're replacing this bar is as it gets warm, this end hangs up and this adjuster is loosened up to the point where it no longer holds the blade in place. So that means the bar is just due. So we're going to place our old bar in place. And when we put our chain on, you've got one angle on the tooth and then one flat side on the tooth. You want the angle to go forward because the angle is your cutting surface and the bottom is where you're cutting. Well, it rotates that direction, doesn't matter. So now we're going to loop the chain over the bar with the bar pulled all the way in. And we're almost done. So we'll take this one, and what we'll do here is we'll tighten it up, and we're leaving it there only because it holds everything in place for when we put our cover back on. So now on your cover, if you've got to screw in the cover, it'll have a little thing that slides back and forth, and you want to line it up with that. So it's okay to put your cover on loosely and then fool with that adjustment until you get it right where you want it, and then it'll click into place real easily. So the only thing we've got left is we'll snug this up, and we'll snug it up with this just a little bit. And now the ratchet comes in handy. What we're going to do is make this just loose enough to adjust the blade. Okay, and that's loose enough to adjust the blade, so that the blade can scoot around back and forth. Now we'll tighten the blade up, and we're tightening it until this feels pretty snug right there. And now this is a brand new chain, so it's going to stretch out pretty fast. You're going to adjust it 2 or 3 times. Now, one of the things I like to do is go like this. And what you're doing here is you're pushing the blade up. And that way, that's how it's going to work its way to while you're running. Because when you're running, the vibration is going to let it move around a little bit. So now we'll tighten these bolts. See, I'm holding it down pretty well. Tightening these bolts nice and snug. And it's just that easy. You've replaced the chain. Now, one thing I want to point out before we go is if your chain looks like this, there you go, take a good look at that chain. If your chain links look like this, and it's just simply not cutting well anymore, then you need one of these. There's 10 different ways to do it. Don't care how you do it. But what you do is you line it up with your angle on the front edge. There are much more technical ways to do it, and move on. And run it all the way around the saw. If your teeth are this large and your chain's not rusty or anything, then you don't have to replace it. The reason we're replacing this one is if you look at the teeth, they've been sharpened to death. You can see the size difference in the teeth. So this chain's just done. And since I needed a new bar anyway, I figured we'd go ahead and replace the chain. I hope this made it a little bit easy for you people using this particular chainsaw. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments because I usually respond to all the comments pretty quickly. Thanks, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.